All right, hello everyone. My name is Coach David, and I am here with Ivy League Admission Secrets, part of College Admission Secrets. Today it is August 22nd. It is 6 p.m., right? And today we're going to be talking about the Y essays and other supplemental essays that your student might face as they are going into this application season. Okay. But before we do, right, because we have so many people joining our different groups, right, in our coaching programs, I do want to introduce the hosts of Ivy League Admission Secret Group. Okay, so first you have me there, right? I was a little bit younger, right? Look a little bit different. But my name is Coach David. I went to the Claremont colleges, right? I studied political science and Asian studies. I eventually went off to law school. I worked as an attorney. I worked on the global legal affairs team at Samsung. I also worked as an undergraduate in law school admissions reader, right? And I have been helping families for the last 15 years in college admissions and financial aid, right? I've saved families bunches of money for college, right? And I have had students accepted into all the Ivies and all the Ivy League, all the Ivy Plus schools, right? Hopefully your student is the next one that I'm able to help, right? My co-host is Coach Tony, right? He's the founder of College Admission Secrets, right? I'm sure you guys have seen him around on Facebook here and there with the Mohawk, right? Coach Tony, he has a very storied past as well, right? He got into UCLA and UCI, but decided to go to UC Berkeley to get a little bit further away from home. After he graduated, he worked as a UC Berkeley admissions reader. He also worked at UCLA as an outreach director, founded his own charter school, was TikTok's first kind of educational partner, and he has also been helping families for the past 15 years. Okay, now those are the two people that you get, right? We have a wealth of knowledge and we want to share with everyone, and we hope that everyone does learn from our trainings and reaches out to us and engages with us so that we can make sure to help people along the path to going to college. Okay. Now, like I've told you, right? I've had students go to every single Ivy League and Ivy Plus school. Obviously, I just put the Ivies on here and their logos, right? Or their kind of emblems, right? But right, in addition to that, we have students in at a bunch of different schools as well, Ivy Plus schools, right? Last year we had one of our students get into Caltech, right? We had another student get into Rice. We had another student get into Emory. We had another student get into Stanford, right? Columbia, Cornell, right? So we have a lot of experience working with students and getting them to where they want to go, right? Now, in this session today, we're going to talk about the most confusing part of the application, most likely, right? And it is the supplemental essays, right? We're going to talk about how to attack the why questions. And we're also going to talk about some of the weird ones that are out there and how to attack those weird ones, okay? So let's go ahead and kind of jump straight into it here, okay? Now, the first thing that I want to make sure that people understand is, where do I find these essays? I literally get questions every day from our coaching families. Where do I find this essay? Where do I find that essay? And the answer is that you're going to find it in the Common Application. Now, there are some schools, a very select few, that still have not updated their kind of like class of 2025 Common Application for this coming year, right? Most of them have updated everything, okay? But this is where you find them, okay? You find them in the Common App, and I know that's very general, but the reason why I say that is because literally they can be in any section, right? You need to look through every single tab on your Common Application. You also need to make sure that you are choosing your major, because there may be hidden essays based on your major. You need to make sure to look in every nook and cranny. Let's go ahead and look at one of those, okay? So this is for Cornell, right? Just wanted to go ahead and make sure that, we had an Ivy League on here that kind of had a little bit of a hidden situation, right? Now, for Cornell, if you look at the left here, it seems very, very kind of well thought out, right? Okay, so there are questions I need to answer, and then there is a writing supplement that I need to make sure to get into, right? And that is where it seems like all your essays and writing will be. Unfortunately, that is not the case, right? There's going to be writing, there could be writing kind of sections in the question section, right? Of either the application or of the writing supplement. So make sure you keep that in mind. Now, for the questions here in the writing supplement, you see we have one about, Ezra Cornell and the question about that. You also have a question about, why are you drawn to studying the major you have selected, right? But, right? And so again, here in Princeton, like here, we see that it is in the section, in the question section, right? Now, also, right, you could also find that you're going to have additional kind of essay questions based on your major. So in the questions, right, in the academic section, it asks, what degree would you like to pursue at Princeton? Once you choose the majors that you want, you will sometimes see that as we choose that, right, as we chose Bachelor of Science in Engineering at Princeton, right, you see that an additional essay pops up. It wasn't there before, right? Do you see this, right? Before it was just a bunch of drop downs. The next one, as soon as you pick a drop down, it has an additional question. So when I tell students you need to search through everything, you need to answer everything so you can check which kind of essays that you have, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So hopefully this kind of points it out to everybody, okay? Now, the kind of areas that tend to have the most like hidden questions are nursing, engineering, and business, okay? Those are just, normally those are the ones that have additional questions, okay? But don't be surprised if you're applying as history and you have a hidden question, just like we see here, okay? Now, what is the takeaway here? The takeaway here is that there are probably more essays than you think, okay? You need to make sure to look at every single section, make sure that you choose your intended major so that you can make sure there's no hidden essays, and you need to review, okay? Now, I know a lot of students, they kind of just skim through things, right? Instead of skimming through, you really do have to take the time to make sure you're answering the questions just in case, right? Now, obviously, we're in California, one school where a lot of students are like, oh, okay, yeah, I finished all the questions. I'm like, are you sure? Let me see which essays you wrote. No, nope, you didn't answer all the questions, is USC, okay? Now, I know we're talking about Ivy and Ivy Plus, but, you know, USC is ranked in the top 25, so it's kind of up there, right? But USC is a school where, depending on what you end up choosing, you might choose, you know, the art school, Roski, you might end up choosing, you know, Marshall for business, you might end up choosing Viterbi for engineering, but depending on what you choose, there will be additional questions that you need to answer below, okay? All right, now let's kind of go on to like, what do they ask you? Okay. Now these are going to be kind of talking about the different supplemental types that there are on the Common App, most likely, right? I do understand that there are some schools that are on the Coalition app or that have their own applications as well, right? A couple of weeks ago, we actually went over the MIT application, the Georgetown application, and the different questions that they're asking there. Okay. Now, I have found that this is the most feared question out of all the questions on the kind of like Common App or just during the college admissions process, right? But the most feared question that I have found is why, okay? Now, as part of our coaching program, one of the things that we do is continually ask students why, okay? When they say, you know what, coach, I want to study engineering, we ask them why. And 80% of the students I ask stare back at me, right? Why did he ask me that question, right? Or it's a little bit of like, I'm not sure how I should answer, okay? But something that all students, right, doesn't matter if you're a 6th grader, 7th grader, 10th grader, 12th grader, that you should be asking yourself is why? Why are you doing the activities that you're doing? Why are you pushing along a certain academic track that you're pushing, right? These are the important questions. These are how you show how you have grown and developed. This is also how you show that you are really interested in the different subject areas that you have chosen, okay? So the why essay, right? They might ask a lot of different whys, but these ones are the most common. Why do you want to come to our institution? And why do you want to study our major? Now, when they ask this question, it could be, why do you want to study your major? And that's it, right? It could also be, why do you want to come to our institution? And then that's it. Like, that's the singular question. Or they might ask you, why do you want to study your major at our institution? Which complicates things even further, okay? But I'm going to kind of walk you through a little bit of kind of the do's and don'ts of the why essay so that you guys can understand what is good to put, what is not good to put, right? And I will kind of tell you these things kind of very straightforwardly so that there's no question, okay? So this is how we're going to attack the why essays, okay? So the first thing, the school specific one, why do you want to come to our institution, right? So for this one, you need to do your research. If your essay reads and it's basically saying, oh my gosh, you know, Brown, it's such a good school, right? It's ranked so high, right? Well, they already know that, okay? They're already very proud about their school. You don't need to tell them again, right? So you need to focus on things about the school that are not going to change, right? Let the school know that you have looked into that school and you are making an informed decision, not based on the ranking, not based on anything else. It is literally based on your desire to study at this particular institutions, right? Now, like I said before, right? Or like I kind of commented before, they already know that they're good, but they do want you to brag about kind of their school, right? But you have to be careful about how you're doing it, because if you do it so generally that it could literally, I could take out the kind of, I can take out Brown and replace it with Yale or UPenn or Cornell. Then the question is it specific enough for this school to realize that you did do your research? Okay. So what are some things that you want to talk about? Okay. So the first one is you might want to find some specific programs that are related to your interest areas or majors. Okay. Maybe they have a very specific program in neuroscience. Maybe they have a very specific like technology and management program. Maybe they have a very specific this or that program. Whatever it is, maybe that's what you talk about, right? Again, you want to find things that other people are not finding. So if it takes you kind of like, and I'll kind of talk about this pro tip a little bit later, but if it's harder for you to find, that means less people have found it, okay? Other things you might want to talk about is student organizations that reflect your passions and values, okay? One of the things that a lot of kind of parents kind of lose track of as they're thinking about colleges is that your student is not going to college just to study 100% of the time, right? 50% of the time, they might be studying, right? Maybe 40%, right? Depends on your student, right? But the other kind of half of life at college is being part of a community, right? Taking your interests further through different organizations, right? So showing the college that you have interests that you can follow at that school shows them that you're gonna have that kind of like nice integration into their campus community, okay? Tell them about how different aspects of that particular college will blend seamlessly with your interests, passion, and convictions, okay? I always use this as an example, but again, I'm not telling to use this as an example, right? Because it's probably overdone at this point, right? But before kind of the advent of the internet and kind of like more, college forums and this and that, there was kind of like this tradition at MIT, right? That not a lot of people knew about, right? And it was like this piano drop that they did from the engineering building every year, or it was the physics building, one of those buildings. But they literally took a piano up to the roof and dropped it off the roof for some kind of scientific purpose, I'm guessing, right? Obviously, I'm not a STEM major. I don't really understand the scientific reasons behind dropping a piano off the roof, but it was something that they did every single year. It was an annual thing. Not many people knew about it though, right? So if you show them that you know some of their traditions or some pieces of their culture, right? That really shows them that you went above and beyond and looked further into their school, right? The one pro tip that I'll give you here is this, right? And I'm going to give it again, right? But here it is, right? If you found the information that you're writing in your why Penn, why Columbia, why Harvard essay, right? If you found it on the first page, so did 50,000 other students, right? So it's not that special anymore, right? The more clicks that you have to make in order to get to the information that you found, the less likely it is to have been found by other people, okay? Every click, I don't want to put like a number on it, but every click that you make makes it like, another like, 10, 15% less that someone else is going to find it, okay? So the more clicks that you can get, the better your information is going to be, okay? Now, in this kind of like why our school essay, here are some things that you don't want to talk about, okay? The location, okay? I get this a lot, but I tell students all the time, you want to make it seem like you want to go to this school, even if it was in the middle of the Alaskan tundra, right? Even if you had to live in an igloo, you would want to go to this school, right? So unless the school and community are so intertwined that you cannot talk about one without the other, then I would not talk about the location, okay? A school that is really, really, really intertwined with the community and literally like the community and the campus are like kind of one in the same is Columbia among the Ivy League schools, right? There are other schools that are very prominent in their communities, but none that are as connected as Columbia, okay? So something to keep in mind, right? Again, another thing that you don't want to talk about, if I have families that are applying to Brown this year and you show me an essay that talks about the open curriculum, I'm going to scrap it right away, right? The reason is because the open curriculum at Brown is something that they have literally on their first page. And to be honest with you, it's really not that special. It's basically saying that you can explore your different interests your first and second year. But what college can you not do that at? You can do that at Harvard, you can do that at Stanford, you can do that at Yale, Princeton, Dartmouth, any of them. So the open curriculum is just, they patented that term to kind of talk about their particular program, but it doesn't mean anything different than what you would get at other schools. Okay, they know it too, but it's like, oh, Brown automatically open curriculum, right? And I've actually talked to a couple of students that are applying to Brown this year, and I'm like, if you talk about that, I'm not even going to read. I'm just gonna exit all out. You need to rewrite it. Okay. Other things you don't want to talk about, a specific professor, right? What if they leave, right? If you're like, oh my God, Professor Green, I really want to study under him, and then like when you turn in your application and then you hear this huge announcement that Professor Green is now going to Stanford instead of being at Yale, right? So then your essay just got demolished, right? And that's not what we want, right? And then finally, superficial reasons, right? There are a lot of pretty campuses around the world, right? But because the campus is pretty should not be a reason that you want to go there, right? That's just a perk of going to the college that really fits your needs academically and socially and community-wise. Okay, so these are some things not to talk about. Okay, now let's move on to the major specific things, right? Again, like I said, this is something that we ask our coaching students as they're entering our program, whether they're a 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grader. We ask them, why do you want to study the major you are choosing, right? Now, a lot of our students, again, like I said, either are blank, like they don't know what to say, or they kind of bring up like, I'll kind of give you an example of some of the things that I've heard recently, right? So a lot of things that I've heard recently, I've had a lot of students that are interested in mechanical engineering. And do you know what all of their answers are? I love building. I like being creative. I like working with my hands, right? Now, there's probably some people out in the audience right now that are like, oh my God, that's what my kid wrote, right? I thought it was really good, right? Unfortunately, that's what 50,000 other kids are writing as well. There needs to be a deeper drive of why your student wants to study that major, okay? Now, I understand that for some students, one of the main focuses of like, kind of like, studying a certain major is like job security and money, right? Of course, we need money to live, right? Everyone, they want to feel appreciated and they want to have a job that they're good at, right? That's definitely great, right? But for a high school student that is headed off to college, right? Kind of hopes and dreams still need to be there, right? There needs to be a deeper purpose than I want to make a living, right? At this age, right? Now, parents, I get it. If you had that mindset, but students, that shouldn't be what it's about right now. Okay. So when you're thinking about the major specific question, why do you want to study your major, right? Focus on what got you interested, right? How you hope to expand your learning at blank college through blank. Okay. I just gave you a very simple template, right? Another way to think about it is what is your origin story? Okay. Everyone has seen a superhero movie, right? Whether it's, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, all the mans, right? There's a reason why they got their superpowers, why they want to fight crime, why they are evil, whatever it is, right? Whether they're a superhero or villain, right? And so you need to get to the core of what led you down this path. That is what they're looking for here, right? Now, here are some things that you want to talk about, okay? Again, there may be research opportunities you want to take advantage of, but you need to be specific. How do the things that you have been learning, like, how are they going to help with that research process that is happening right now, right? Another thing is finding opportunities at the campus that are different than others, right? Maybe there's a specific summer program that takes you to Antarctica, right? That no other school has. Maybe there's like an internship program that takes you to inner city schools and that's really what you want to do. You want to teach, right? Again, you have to show them that this is kind of like your calling, right? Maybe there's a faculty lecture series that distinguishes a particular college, right? When I was going to the Claremont colleges, we had this thing called the Athenaeum, right? I think it was like once a month. They would bring in a panel of guest speakers about a certain topic, and then they would serve us dinner at the Athenaeum. And then there was only like 25 seats available. So you had to sign up really quickly. But there was 25 seats. You got in, you got to hear these like, kind of like world renowned people talk, right? And have dinner with them, right? Which was a really cool thing. Now, obviously, there are these kind of programs at, the Ivy Leagues as well, right? And then another way to kind of think about it is tell them why studying blank, the major, right, at this college will help you get further, right? Don't just tell them, oh, it's going to help me get further. You have to tell them exactly how it's going to do that, right? Again, same thing about kind of like all these different things you're finding, the summer programs, like, the different ways that it's going to push you forward, the research opportunities. If you found it, like after a click, it's too many people are going to find it. You need to make sure that you get further into the website, further into their kind of the repertoire of the different things that are further in the website, like the research and those different types of programs. Okay. All right, what not to talk about. Okay. So a lot of students start talking about the ranking again when they're talking about like why you want to study your major. Oh, you know, you guys are ranked number 43 in engineering and I really want to go, right? Just name dropping classes, right? If you name drop classes, you need to tell them why that's so important to you that college has that for your particular major, right? Randomly putting in college course names, right? Talking about particular professors or famous people from that school, right? I think I've read like probably close to 50 or 60 essays of students applying to Harvard that use the name Zuckerberg, right? And I'm like, as soon as I see it, my brain shuts off, right? That's probably what happens to the Harvard readers as well, right? Just because someone famous went there doesn't matter. They already know, right? They already gave him his honorary degree, okay? So they know he went there. We all get it, right? But that's not why you want to go to that school. That's just a perk of people knowing more about your school, okay? Now, before we go a little bit further into the weird ones, a word from our sponsor, okay? So one of the things that this is kind of talking about is exactly about essays, right? Now, for our students that are really far ahead right now, they're basically done with their UCPIQs, they're done with their Common App essay. A lot of them are starting to work on their early action and early decision essays, right? Now, that might scare a lot of parents here, right? If that scares you, that's probably because your student hasn't even started, right? So if your student has no direction or like they can't really get a start on what they need to be doing for their essays, contact us today. We have a monthly college essay service that can help your student get to that finish line faster. Okay, so if you are interested in that, please text essay to 415-938-8721 to get more information about our college essay service. I will also have this at the end so that you guys can do that, but I will give you guys 10 seconds just real quickly to take a screenshot if you need to. Okay, I'm going to take a quick drink of water. All right, so let us continue on, right? We also have financial aid secrets, right? Like I said, I've been doing financial aid for a decade and a half, right? So if you want to pay full price for college, no worries. Turn your ears off for a second. You don't need to sign up for a consultation. But if you don't want to pay full price, please sign up for that consultation, and I will have that link at the end, right? If you think you make too much money, oh, we own our own house, so we can't get anything, or that FAFSA is just for loans, right? If any of these things are the things that you're thinking right now, you need to sign up for a consultation right away. It doesn't matter if you're in 9th grade or in 12th grade, I can help you, but you need to sign up for a consultation now, okay? The process is coming up very shortly. Okay, so back to our training now, okay? So I also wanted to highlight some of the weird essays that different schools have. The reason why I do this is because there is a kind of very large range of things that they're going to be asking for, but you really need to be able to understand exactly what the question is asking, right? So let's kind of dive right into some, and you're probably going to be like, oh my God, I don't even know how I would answer this as an adult that's, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at University of Chicago. These are some of their questions. Okay, now University of Chicago gives you about a page, so about 500 words to write on an essay of your topic or like a topic of your choice, or choose one of the previous year's topics. These are the questions. What's so odd about odd numbers? Okay, where's Waldo, right? Find X, right? So in these questions, right, there is obviously like they give you a little bit of direction, right? But like for the first one, there is no direction they give. For the Where's Waldo, it says, in essence, tell us about a time when you had to find yourself among a group of people, right? So they want to learn about how you grew and developed, right? Find X. This is a variation of a typical math problem where X is unknown. Here, applicants can take the prompt in any direction they choose. It seems like they give you a direction to go into, but they literally give you no direction. So you have to define the premise yourself, right? These types of questions are very difficult because a lot of students, they start writing and they ramble and then they get off topic, okay? So you have to understand exactly where you're headed when you're writing these essays that have a little bit more of a wide breadth given to them, okay? Tufts, there's another one that says, celebrate your nerdy side, right? So they're telling us, hey, if there's something that you're really passionate about and like you kind of geek out about, tell us about it, right? There's another one that says create a short story, piece of fiction or nonfiction work that represents you, right? Again, they want to understand who you are. It's not about what you've done, right? I don't think there would ever be a short story in the world that says, oh, I took this class, then I took this class, and then I took this class, and I took this class, right? But a lot of our students, that's what they end up doing. One of the things in our coaching program that we teach is that you need to be authentic, right? But for a lot of students, they don't really know how to talk about themselves, right? And so the example that I give at the beginning of every roadmap, as we go over kind of like the authenticity portion of our values is, have you ever introduced yourself by saying, hi, my name's David. I took 12 AP classes, right? Now, if you are a student that has done that, I'm a little scared, right? If you're a parent that has done that, I'm a little scared, right? But here's the thing, most people have not done that, right? And the reason is because when you're telling or you're introducing yourself to new friends, it doesn't matter how many AP classes you have, how many A, B's, or C's. It's the real kind of question is, do you have a connection with that person? Okay. So colleges want to see that as well. They want to see who you are as a person. Okay. So, and then the last one here, it's like whether you've built circuit boards or written slam poetry, created a community event, or designed mixed media installations, tell us, what have you invented, engineered, produced, or designed, or what do you hope to, right? It's all about you, what your dreams are, what your goals are, what your values are, and how you're going to get there, right? They never ask you, how many AP classes have you taken? They already see that in your transcript. They don't need to ask you, right? You don't need to say, I did this activity and this activity, and I had 1,000 hours here and 2,000 hours here, because they already see that in your activities, right? Now, I'm not saying that there can't be overlap, but the focus of it should be on your growth and development. That's what colleges are looking for, okay? Yale, they say, you are teaching a Yale course. What is it called, right? Again, they want to see what you're interested and passionate about, right? They have another one, reflect on your engagement with the community to which you belong. How do you feel you have contributed to this community? They're trying to see that community service aspect, right? And then literally in the last one, they tell you exactly what they want. What inspires you? What makes your heart beat, right? That's what they want to know. They want to know more about who you are, how you're going to fit on their campus, right? Stanford, this is a very famous one. There's actually colleges that have copied this question, right? And it's basically the roommate question, right? Write a note to your future roommate that reveals something about you or that will help your roommate and us know you better. Again, it's not about academics. It's not about your activities or your achievements. They want to know about you as a person, right? They also have another question here. It says the Stanford community is deeply curious and driven to learn in and out of the classroom. Reflect on an idea or experience that makes you genuinely excited about learning, right? Again, it's what makes you tick, right? And what is the most significant challenge that society faces today, right? Again, they want to know what you think is important here, right? Stanford wants to know who their student is so that they can make sure the right students are coming, okay? So here are the takeaways from our supplemental essays, right? This is not you bragging about the school, right? But about how you and your values fit into their campus, right? You want to be able to show that you are the right fit, right? But I don't want students to kind of like create a persona in order to try to fit into every school, right? Every student is their own person, right? And if a school says, hey, you're not the right fit here, right? Then the student, as a student, you should be like, okay, that's all right, right? Because if I went there, I probably wouldn't be 100% happy anyway, okay? That doesn't matter if we're talking about Ivy Leagues, Ivy Plus, top 50, top 100, top 500 schools, okay? And then the final thing here is make sure that you are not reciting like a brochure, right? There are some times where I read a student's why this school essay and I'm like, wow, you should send that to the admissions office because the admissions office would love to use that in one of their pamphlets, right? If that's the kind of feeling that you get after you read your essay, you're not going down the right track, okay? It should be specific to you. It should be specific to that college. And it should be things that, again, you have researched into heavily. Okay. Now, like we do every week, I want to invite those families that are not in our coaching program yet to work with us, right? Now, how this works is very simple, right? I'm going to share like what our coaching programs look like. If you do want to have a meeting with us, I will have the link at the end, right? But very simply, right? Our first meeting is we're going to learn more about you, about your family situation, about your student to see what would work best for you, okay? And then if you are interested in kind of talking to us again about the different programs, we'll go ahead and make sure that we set up another appointment with you to talk about the different programs and pricing. In that first meeting, you can't even buy anything. Okay, even if you're ripping and roaring to go, it's like I got you guys are it, right? We want you, right? Unfortunately, you can't sign up, right? So put those credit cards away, right? So in our coaching program, we have college and career support. We help with college selection, college exploration, major strategy. We also help with selecting classes, dual enrollment recommendations, also outside online high school recommendations as well, right? We help with activities. The biggest part, one of the kind of key components of our coaching program is a personal project. Some people misunderstand personal project. Our personal project is a little bit different than everyone else's. Our personal project in College Admission Secrets and an Ivy League Admission Secrets is not about just having another thing to add onto your resume. It's about affecting your community, right? And we also support with internships and research programs, okay? During the application process of everything, right? We help with an unlimited amount of applications. Our student that applied to the most colleges last year applied to 43 colleges. Who knows if that gets broken this year, but we'll keep you updated on that. We help with kind of essay revisions and edits, right? We have a 24-hour turnaround time if you're in our coaching program, right? And also not available anymore because we ran out of space and we sold out, but the college app intensive is also included as part of your program, okay? We have customized roadmap calls, weekly and monthly check-ins. We also have daily coaching, right? We have office hours all the time, right? And it's a one price deal, lifetime access from this time you start all the way until you graduate from high school, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and send those links into the chat, right? But at this time, I would like to kind of open it up for Q&A to make sure that people are able to answer their questions and that I can help you guys out that way, okay? So there are two links here. The first one is for financial aid. The second one is to set up an assessment for your student, okay? So Q&A, if anyone has questions, again, there's no wrong questions. I know that a lot of people in here might be a little bit shell-shocked or like there's just too much information being thrown at you, and you need a little minute to process. So process, but please ask your questions, right? And if you're in our Facebook group, reach out to us on Facebook, right? If you're in our coaching program, reach out to us in your Discord channels or support channels, right? Or if you don't really know how to use any of those and you got an email from us, email us back so we can give you the information that you need, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and post those links one more time. Make sure to copy and paste them or have them available, okay? But let's open it up for Q&A and make sure that we answer some questions. So I'll kind of wait until the first one comes in, okay? Oh, and just one more time, for those families that are looking to get help for their seniors on college essays, you can text essay to 415-938-8721. All right. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions, which means that that means I did a really good job today of answering all the questions that might come up. Okay. But once again, we are here to help, right? We want to make sure that your path to college is as easy and efficient as possible, right? So again, please make sure to have those links, right, for financial aid, right? Make sure to save some money, right? For the kind of assessment with our team, make sure to at least get some information that makes you head down the right track, right? I feel like there's a lot of families that come in with, different, pieces of information from this person and that person, and they had a consultation with this company and that company, and then everything gets kind of like molded together, and it's like it's not anything of like usable, right? Because there's too many pieces from too many different sources, right? Now, getting the information from kind of like one group, right, that has been through this for a collective, 35, 40 plus years, right? That's what you want on your side, okay? All right, so I don't see any additional questions, but again, you're free to reach out to us at any time, right? I will be closing down now, right? If you guys do have questions, let us know, okay? And always this happens, but let's go ahead. There is a question here, okay? And it says, for the awards and honor section, should I put an AP award, AP scholarship, or scholarship I got from my hometown scholarship foundation to tour colleges based on my community service? So, again, I'm not exactly sure which application you're talking about, right? But in the awards and honors section, right, for the common application is actually supposed to be academic awards. So the only one that you would be able to put is the one for the AP award, right? If you're talking about the UC application, right, then on the UC application, yes, you can put both of those awards, right? But again, you have to think about what the process was, right? Was there a selection process, or did you just turn in an application with your name and kind of like, where you went to school, right? So is it something that is worthwhile putting on there or not, right? Now on the Common App, while the awards or honors section is just for academic things, if you did want to talk about your scholarship because it meant a lot to you and it was like a grueling process to get through that, then sure, you can put it in the additional information section, but it wouldn't necessarily go into that awards and honors section. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question there. We have another question that says, how many essays are required for the Common App for each school? As I showed you before, it really depends. It could be anything from 0 to 12, right? So it really depends on which schools you're applying to, right? And also what major you are, right? So it really depends, right? That's why kind of at the beginning of our training, right, we went through like, here's how you find all the ones that you need, right? Just finding all of them is like a task in itself, right? So you need to go in, you need to fill out all the information, fill out all your Common App stuff, fill out the majors, fill out the like, I'm applying early or regular, I'm applying as an engineering student, as this student, as that student, to make sure that you find all the essays. And the essays could be anywhere in any single tab, okay? Oh, the questions are rolling now, okay. So it says, what are examples of things that can go in the honors section of the Common App? I have awards and honors on my resume, but I don't know which ones should be on my Common App. So technically you have 5 slots in the Common App to add things. They should be academic, right? So like, let's say you got an award in your biology class, that can go on there, right? Let's say you got honor roll at your school, that can go on there, right? Let's say that you went to, biology Olympiad, that can go on there, or you did academic decathlon, that can go on there. MUN can go on there. Speech and debate can go on there, right? So there's just like a lot of different things. If you went to like a hackathon, that's more academic related because it is related to one of the subjects that you're studying. That can go on there, right? But other things like arts awards or athletic awards or community service awards don't technically fit in that box. Okay. All right. Okay. I thought there was going to be like a whole barrage of questions, but there's only a couple. But again, thank you guys for being here with me. If you do have additional questions, make sure to reach out to us. And again, book that breakthrough session, right? Book that financial aid call, right? The earlier you sign up, the better, because the more that we're going to be able to help you with either of them, with the financial aid or with the college, kind of our college coaching program. Okay. So everyone have a good night. So I'm actually going to be headed down to UCLA this weekend to help our students at the college application intensives. Sorry to say for families that are like, oh my God, what's that? You snooze, you lose. It's a 2-day like weekend event where we're helping our seniors get a jump start and or even finish their applications. So, for those that are kind of like late to the party or they heard about it a bunch of times and they weren't able to sign up or they didn't sign up, unfortunately, we're out of seats now, but the college essay service is still available. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and reach out about that. Okay. So I will see some of the families in here. I do see that I'll be seeing them this weekend. So I look forward to that. And for everyone else, you'll have Coach Tony next week, but I will be back in 2 weeks at the beginning of September with hopefully some new news about some updates to the Common App and any changes that have happened. Okay. All right. Everyone have a good night, and I will talk to you again in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.